Aloha. Thank you for joining Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson. And I'm getting an oh my God, you keep
I like it at this time.
Yay. Aloha and welcome to Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson, coming to you at a different time. It's noon. It's noon in Hawaii.
6 o'clock, 6 p.m. Eastern time.
Yay. So we finally made it on. Thank you, Lori, for helping me. I have some questions to go to email, and then Anand's got something. Do you have anything for me, Lori?
Well, a couple weeks ago, you had said to me, remember when that truck almost squashed me? I could have died in that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And you said that I wanted that.
Uh-huh.
I wanted that experience.
Yes.
Why? Why would I?
Well, what is every experience for, first of all?
For realizing our true nature.
You could say that, yeah. Yeah, it's for recognizing what's really true.
What's really true, yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing is a representation of the unconscious mind. The unconscious mind takes to be true. So everything is to get a feeling. And the feeling demonstrates kind of how close or far away that thought pattern is from the truth. See?
Okay.
So it's like a sudden, it's not like you have to analyze it or anything like that. It's just in recognizing that it is a play of the mind. It's not an almost accident because it's like it's either an accident or it's not. It's like that's the play. That it's either an experience of an accident or experience of not. You're talking about, we're saying it in terms of accident with a car crash, basically. Right. Nothing's really an accident, but either a car crash occurs or it doesn't.
Or it doesn't.
And yeah, the mind runs around with stories like there's separate actors doing things, and just by chance it went like this, but it went exactly the way that it was planned to go. It's like a script. It's just running like a script.
Okay. So the gratitude for it not going a different way is all crap.
It's identification.
Yeah, okay.
It's just identification. It's just to tie you into an individual, someone who can die by chance.
Right. Oh my God.
So that kind of gratitude that I didn't die, is just false gratitude.
Right. It's false. It's crap. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that was good.
Isn't that for fun?
Really good. It was almost like when you said that, there was like I felt pulled into the realization of that. That was weird.
Yeah, well, you're ready and you're asking the right question. The underlying question of all your questions is to let me see. It's not an underlying feeling of, it's not an underlying ego feeling of let me get something in the world,
Right. Well, that's you have always said, you said, show me. Oh my God, I say that all the time. Show me.
Oh my goodness.
Or how can it get better than this?
That's access consciousness. That how can it, how does it get better than this? It's like being there in the question of what is, the true. Let's put it like this. I've been meaning to share this anyways. I started writing it a couple times on my iPhone, but I'm just kind of like, let me just speak it because it gets so long. So look at it like this. Consciousness is made of the thought of separation. Okay. No thought
Okay.
of separation, no consciousness. And consciousness, you have to have something to be conscious of. That
Mhm.
takes a thought of separation. Okay. Consciousness arises upon the truth, upon awareness. It doesn't arise without being, having its source awareness. So right alongside with the thought of separation is a thought system that speaks to what's true. It's there in consciousness. So that's kind of like, how I'm always talking about there's a choice, there's a choice, there's a choice.
Right. Okay.
There's two thought systems. There's a thought system that's built on separation, and there's a thought system that points to the truth.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're kind of side by side. So no matter how deep into the extrapolation of the thought of separation, how much there's identification as an individual, right? That thought system of truth is always right alongside it. And Abraham Hicks has talked about that, like that scale that they talk
Yeah.
about,
Mm-hmm.
that scale of good stuff. Well, when you're like super deep in delusion and you're really identified as a person, you really feel you never really identified as a person, but you really feel identified as a
Right.
person. There's always that kind of, it's also been called the thread of bliss. Okay. It could also be called a doorway to eternity. And it's just like right alongside of it is it's just a thought system that shines a light on the one that's got you buried. I was talking with a friend yesterday in Wisdom Dialogues in person, and he was like, so I'm just so buried in this and in this and this and this. And it's like, you are not buried in that. See, that's the thought system that says you're buried in it over here. But then, right there with it is the one that says, no, you're not. That's not you. It's not even you. You're experiencing this buried, that's really what it comes to. It's like there's not the identification as the one who's believing all these thoughts. That's not you.
So awesome that you're saying this, because recently when I'm talking to someone, I'm saying, like, when I started realizing, the 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 wording was there's no I. There's no
Uh-huh.
I. There's no I. So then I started seeing that, the showering happens, driving happens, talking happens, but there's no one doing it. And then I said, so what? So right alongside of that, because I'm saying, who is doing that? What is doing that?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
is doing that? Because
Yeah,
it's happening. That's exactly what you mean.
yeah, it's like you're not buried in the particulars of the whatever it's saying, like my friend was oh, careful, baby.
Whoops.
My friend was saying something like, hold on, I got a little bit distracted. My son wants me. Yeah. So what are we talking about?
We were talking about the I. Like when I'm showering, I say I'm a million miles away in thoughts, but the showering still gets done. I'm driving, I'm a million miles away. Who's a million miles away? I
Yeah.
know there's no me doing it, but what's doing it?
Yeah.
It's side by
Well,
side.
it's just playing out. Yeah. So it's like a script playing out. Basically, the ego script is the script of separation. That script is playing out. It's like a ticker tape playing out. Alongside of it is what always points to the truth, that this ego trip isn't real. It's just something arising in the perception. It's like no different than, say, this pillow arising in the perception.
Okay.
It's not any different than this lovely silk pillow.
So the
Only I can
thought.
lay my head on the pillow, apparently. Those kinds of thoughts that speak to separation, that tie me into separation, are not comfortable. And not
That's true.
and not something that needs to be fed, but it does need to be met, the feeling of discomfort. See, the feeling of discomfort does need to be met, kind of like in a spirit of it's okay. See, and
Oh.
and also the spirit of let me see allows for the seeing to occur. You're not going to be left in the dark. There's no way anyone's going to be left in the dark. It's just that it's just that there's wanting this darkness for a while. There's wanting this identification as an individual and holding on to pain for a while.
Mm.
And then there's a maturing out of that. There's a maturing out of that. And then as soon as there's that heartfelt desire for the truth, then it shows itself. Because it's always right there, but as long as your head's buried, and it's kind of like your metaphysical head is buried in the illusion for a moment.
Mm.
And then as soon as your metaphysical head pops up, kind of gets an overview, it's like, oh, it's like a willingness to pop up and get an overview of this.
Mm. Out of the Maya.
Yes.
Mm.
To kind of see the Maya from a different perspective. It's like people have called it detachment.
Right.
It's like
So
it's kind of
there's
able to see it. Mm-hmm.
So it's actually a separation. It's almost like a distance.
Well, yeah, well, it is almost like that, and that's only because the Maya is unreal.
Ah, right.
See,
It's not
that's the
real.
only thing. That's why it seems like a distance, because it's like, whoa, these two, what's real and Maya, they're not even in the same category. See? And that's
The
what
Maya.
that's what the thought system that speaks to the truth reveals, man. They're not even in the same category. That Maya is just meaningless. And all meaning that's given to Maya is given to Maya in our own mind by our attraction to the thoughts that are playing like a script.
By our attraction to the thoughts that are playing. Ooh.
See?
Wow. And
Really fun.
whether we're attracted to those thoughts or not is totally no one's doing.
No, it's identity based. It's
Yeah.
totally identity based. It's who do you think you are? That's what makes the thoughts attractive. The thought that says, I wonder what that person over there thinks of me.
Yeah.
If that thought is any intrigue to you, if you're intrigued by it at all, you don't recognize who you are right now.
Right.
Otherwise, it would hold no interest for you.
Mm.
It would kind of be like comedy. For me, it's kind of like comedy. I wonder if I did that well enough.
Mm.
For most people, I wonder if I did that well enough. It becomes some kind of a story where you're thinking. Like you said, you're taking a shower. You're not even enjoying that warm water because you can't be because you're thinking about something.
Right.
Right. And it's like, and it's like that thought to me, it's not interesting. If it's non-interesting, then it's just passes. It's not worth anything. Then there's more experience. But while it's attractive, while the thought is attractive, like I'll give you for instance, this past weekend, I found myself being attracted to thought about my body. And I knew I had been attracted to thought about my body and identifying as a body because I started to feel shitty and I started to feel like my mind was racing. It's just a sense that you get. It's almost like a sense of the ego. And it's like, and it's like, oh, that's what's going on. So the way that's approached is it's just like I could sense the suffering and it's okay. And it's almost like comforting a baby. I kind of like, that's why I hold my hands right here like this. It's kind of like, it's almost like you're holding a baby to your heart and patting that sweet baby. Soothing that sweet baby that thinks that something's wrong. That has been a pattern for me my whole life. I remember the first time it came up that I could remember, I was probably about 10 years old or something like that. And just someone said something about my body, probably my mom, she would point certain stuff out about, oh, wow, you're going to have to do some workouts, extra workouts on your thighs because you're already starting to get some fat thighs or something, totally totally harmless. It's just kind of like playing on the ticker tape in her mind, and then it's speaking out of her mouth, you know. And then the way as a child I took that is unworthiness. Like if I don't keep that in check, then there will be unworthiness, and that felt really uncomfortable. And so there was all this pressure on me now to perform in a way. I start going on diets when I was a little kid. And so this kind of pattern, I notice it just comes up like everything will be fine. Everything will seem so fine. And then all of a sudden a pattern will come up where all of a sudden I'll get hyper focused on something that maybe something physical like the body. I'll feel hyper focused on something, and it'll seem like it's really serious, like I really need to do something about this in the moment, and then just going, oh, I must be mistaken. Obviously I must be mistaken, because life is not meant to be like this. Look at this guy. See, you're hungry? You're hungry? I thought we said we were going to go shopping at 1 o'clock. Yeah? We're going to get you some food there. In the meantime, you can get a snack, right?
No.
You can't?
No, I can't.
So are you saying you want me to close out Wisdom Dialogues and get you something to eat right now? Yeah? Look. Anon, Lori, Lionel, Molly, Panita.
Okay, girl.
They're all chilling with me. Can you give me about half hour? Yeah?
Yeah, that's all that's left. It's a half an hour. It'll go by fast.
Yeah, like, yeah. Someone said hi, and Anon said hi to you. You don't want anything? You can get a snack. Dad got some tortillas.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, you can have tortilla with butter.
Oh,
Oh, hell yeah. Party on. I love you.
Oh, hell yeah.
I don't really know for sure if the tortillas are there, so he could be back.
Oh.
I remember something about Tony saying he's going to get tortillas.
So he just spreads butter on them?
Well, he heats it up on the stove.
Oh, okay.
And then he puts butter on it, and then he eats it.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's also a pattern. Someone coming with a face like that. See, you guys kind of just experienced it with me right there. Like someone coming with a face like that. It's not like it's a problem. It's just self-talk. It's all self-talk. That's all it is. So when I'm talking to my son, when I'm talking to my son, I'm really talking to myself. See, it's all self-talk. That face, that upset face, it's all just like looking for some compassion, some attention.
Mm-hmm.
See, yeah, whatever it is, and then just being there for that attention. So he's coming up with that sad face. It's kind of like the same thing, and this. It's kind of like a little sad face. I don't like the way this looks on my body. It's kind of like that same little. It's like it's like instead of trying to accommodate that sad face, it's like, oh, it's okay, everything's okay, and then the accommodation, whatever, that just comes naturally out of consciousness, whatever the accommodation is going to be. But the first thing is in the energy body, it's okay. Oh, if there's any kind of upset or resistance to it, it must be mistaken perception. That's all. So then we can communicate. We can communicate. It's always in communications. Like as consciousness, we're in a communication with thought. So my son coming in here with a sad face, saying he's hungry, same kind of thing. It's just it's a rising in the energy field. It may seem like someone has to do something right now. And, I might experience that I'm going that way. That's what I have to do because that's what's happening. If he's going to be in here completely disruptive of it and everything, I'll probably say, okay, you guys, I'll see you. Let's get back on at this time or whatever. But nothing's wrong. That's the thing.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying? Is that nothing's wrong, and it's all the same. So, if you look at it, it's all the same. It's all arising in the perception. So it's the same having an upset, any kind of upset feeling, whether it seems to be coming from another person. You didn't, it's almost like, oh man, I'm the mom and my son's hungry and it's 12:30. This is normally lunchtime. It's like you didn't do something.
Right, you bad mom.
Yeah, it's like you did, wait, you're over here on Wisdom Dialogues talking about spiritual stuff and your kid's hungry.
How dare you?
Isn't it great? so I'll just say that for the people that want to say that. So so the thing is, it's always the same though. It's always like some kind of, you haven't done it good enough. You need to do it better.
Right.
It's the same thing when something comes up about the body. All of a sudden, I'll notice my mind start racing. What have I been doing? All the things that I've do I need to do it better? And it's like, it's fun for me to have that experience. It's fun for me to have that experience because I know my place in it. I am the way, remember? Consciousness is providing the means and I am the way. See?
So consciousness is providing the means. So where does awareness come into that?
Well, that's the way.
Oh, awareness is the
Yes.
way. Because when you're aware, you're aware of what consciousness is bringing up.
Yeah, it's kind of like a matter of what are you aware of? What are you aware of? Are you aware that consciousness is bringing this up? Or are you aware of yourself as an individual in consciousness?
Right.
But it's like in this dream, you're aware of something, right? You're conscious of something, and then you're also aware of something. You're also aware of consciousness. And in being aware of consciousness, you can have an overview. You can see that there are different thought patterns. There are different thought systems, whole thought systems. There's a bunch of thought patterns within the system of separation, and then there's thought patterns in the system of that speaks to the truth. And they're alongside each other so that you can easily choose the pattern of truth, which is the same as choosing no pattern at all, which is the same as choosing no thought pattern at all, because the spirit or the awareness that we are is automatically joyful. See? So it's almost like when you kind of like step off of that thought train.
The ticker tape,
it's like
yeah.
There's an overview. And automatically the more joyful one is the automatic choice. It's like the automatic choice when you have the overview. Like if you don't have the overview, it's like you're ignorant to what choices there are. So in ignorance, you can only make the choices on the script.
Right. But that can be felt. That's felt.
Oh yeah.
Right away.
That's suffering. Yeah, and here's the thing. The more you recognize of the truth, the easier it is to feel just a little touch of even just a little touch of delusion.
Right.
That's why it gets easier and easier to see stuff like, oh, thank goodness I didn't get in that car crash, or thank goodness that guy drove that certain way so where I didn't have to get in that car crash. Nothing like that happened. There was no guy driving. There was actually no car crash at all, or potential for it. There's the potential for only the experience of it. There was not a potential for an actual car crash. There's only the potential for experience of it. And with an experience, after the experience is gone, there's no trace.
Right. It's gone. It's gone. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just there. It's like, whoa, awesome experience, gone. It's not carrying. See, the way the ego will carry an experience like that is talk about it, like, like a story. Like, can you believe? And then it goes into some kind of extrapolation that just makes the individual self even more solid in the mind's eye.
Right. I see that clearly.
Yeah, but that solidity, is that the word? Is not really solid at all. It just makes it look more and more solid. Yeah. Just like, just like anything that you can touch is not really solid, but it feels really solid. It feels really solid. So then it seems like it means something, but it doesn't mean anything. You don't need it. Nothing will change about you if it's gone. And
Right.
nothing will change about you if it stays. So, what the ego does is make things real as if they're necessary,
Mm,
or if they're they're a detriment.
mm,
Either they're necessary and I have to have this, or it's a detriment and I can't have this.
mm. It's putting all the meaning to what's happening.
Yes, it gives all the power to the world. Yes,
Mhm.
exactly. And
Mm.
that's what's not necessary. So check it out. I've got this other. Anyone wants to talk with me live? Raise your hand. You can stay on with me, Lori. I got this other one going on. I'm gonna keep an eye on you guys. See if your hands go up. All right. Okay. Can you explain the relationship between Holy Spirit, ego, consciousness, and the dream that is the world? Okay, so that's a really fun question. That's pretty loaded. Okay, so Holy Spirit. Here's what I see, as far as Holy Spirit. One way I can say, I can point to it. You have to really see this for yourself, but the pointings are fun and they could be entertaining. And, if there's an open space in you, it's going to do its work. And that's just the way it is because it's free will. Yeah. Okay, so Holy Spirit. Basically, okay, that thought system that I just talked about, the thought system that speaks to the truth, that's alongside of the thought system that's built on the thought of separation, okay? That thought system, you could say the spirit of that thought system is the Holy Spirit. It's a very loving, compassionate, you're there when you're there because it speaks to your innocence. It's never any kind of burden. Okay. What did Jesus say? Maybe my sister Pandita would know. Let me see. Pandita, where's your mic? I want to ask you something. Anyone know the Bible here? Something about my yoke being light or something like that. It's a good quote. Anyway, so if she opens her mic, maybe she'll tell me. Okay, so Holy Spirit, yeah, that's like the spirit of that thought system that speaks to the truth. Because for one thing, it's so healing. It's so healing. You could feel the pressure of something intense or something that seems petty, but it's intense to you because you seem like you're petty. Whatever. And that thought system, when it speaks to you, is like a balm. BALM, not BOMB. BALM, balm on to the body, mind, spirit, however you want to say. It's almost like some, I don't know. It's not like anything in the world.
Like a salve.
Yeah, it's not like it. Yeah, it's pure love. It's not like anything you can describe in the world. And even when I am attempting to describe it, it sounds ridiculous. So I'll just stop going there. Ego. Okay. So ego is another thought system. You could say it's kind of like a computer program, okay? And it protects the sense of self. It protects the sense of self that's made through the system of thought that's built on separation. Okay? Which is basically the consciousness, the thought that makes consciousness. The idea of separation that extrapolates, it makes ideas of individual selves, and ego is made to protect that. Okay? It's like a computer program that's made to protect that. Keeps on throwing thoughts out there that make an individual seem real. Okay? Next one, consciousness. Okay, consciousness, you can say it's kind of like a container for all the patterns of thought, all patterns of thought, even the patterns of thought that are the thought system that points to the truth. All contained within all thought systems contained within consciousness, although there's not a real container. It's just to kind of help the mind, nothing's physical like we think. So think of it like as a container, all the thoughts and consciousness. It's like it's like an aware an aware aspect of being that does everything through consciousness. It makes everything arise. It makes all people move. It makes breathing appear to happen. No one's really breathing either. And it makes hair appear to grow. It makes babies appear to be born. It's responsible for everything that comes out of our mouths. It's responsible for everything we eat, drink, do. It's responsible for everyone we meet. It's the total experience, consciousness. Okay. And then the dream of this world. Yeah. So consciousness is the maker of the dream. She said, what is the dream? What's the relationship between the dream of this world? Well, I'll go into the relationships in a minute. I just wanted to define them first, and then we'll go into the relationships. And the dream of this world. So consciousness is responsible for basically the dream of this world. All those things I just said about talking, eating, sleeping, I didn't even say sleeping, but all those things that we experience, that's the dream that is the world. That's the dream of the world. Love you, and you look good. Okay, but what did you hear me? No, maybe not about the voice, about the verse. Keep it sexy. Okay, I will. Thanks, Pandita. Nice to hear from you. I love you. Okay. So yeah, consciousness is projecting the dream world. And okay. As consciousness in the dream. A consciousness is projecting it. Consciousness is experiencing it. All in the dream. As consciousness in the dream, consciousness is relating to thought. As consciousness in the dream, consciousness is relating to thought. Ego is a part of that. Consciousness in relationship with thought. Ego is part of the thoughts contained in consciousness. Okay? See, are you starting to see where a choice is coming in here? Because there's two thought systems. There's a thought system that the ego is protecting, and the ego is protecting it because there's a burden that comes along with believing in the ego thought system. There's also the thought system that comes with that points to the truth. It comes with a lightness. It comes with a light, kind of like a lightening of the energy. It's always a choice. So consciousness is relating with dreams, relating with thought. Okay, how does it relate with the Holy Spirit? Same. Remember what I said? The Holy Spirit to me is like the spirit, the energy of this thought system that speaks to the truth. This beautiful energy, beautiful wisdom. And in this dream, as consciousness, we are relating with the Holy Spirit, ego, Holy Spirit thought system, or ego thought system. Let's say it like that. And the dream of the world is a representation of the choices that have gone before. That's all it's doing. It's just representing the past. It's representing what choices have been made. The choice between the Holy Spirit's thought system and the ego's thought system in any given moment. Okay?
But there's no one choosing.
There's no one choosing between things in the dream world. There's no one choosing between this and that in the dream world. But if you don't know that as consciousness you have a choice, then it's kind of like oh, well, I don't have a choice, so it's just going to go the way it goes anyways. There's not an alertness. Let's put it like that. There's not an alertness. It's almost like a metaphysical, the head is up, ready, metaphysically. Like the head is up and ready to see. You cannot You cannot make the choice if you're not aware of that there is a choice.
Mm.
See, it's like consciousness is doing everything that you can perceive in the world, but this choice is not a perception. Not a perception. It's not in the realm of perception.
Oh, that's tough. Gosh, that's tough.
Did you stop breathing for a second?
I think I did.
I heard that.
Because
It's
there was
tough. Everything. Here's the thing. Everything's difficult when the breath is held. It's unless you're into powerlifting, then you hold the breath for that. But
I'm not into
everything.
powerlifting.
Yeah, you're not into power. You're not doing powerlifting right now. And this isn't like powerlifting, but something wants to make it like powerlifting. That's why
Feels like it. Yes.
so that's why there's not an openness. And this is an argument that has come up for you
Yes,
for
the
probably
choice.
more than a year.
Yes, definitely.
See, like when I say that, there's something that actually gets triggered in there, but the trigger's gone down a little bit.
It's gone down a lot because it's
Yeah.
trying to let in. I really am trying to let in what you're saying. I'm trying to follow this too
Okay, so
hard.
you don't have to try like that, because
Yeah.
that and that if I buy into you trying like that too, that could make it really hard on me, because then I'm like trying to get your brain to wrap around it. But see, the thing is, when you're trying like that, it's kind of like a block too.
Yeah. Oh,
because
totally.
it is sort of like doing some heavy lifting. It's sort of like doing some heavy lifting. So let's look at a scenario. Let's use the body one, because I know you've come across that a lot too, where you just feel this sort of like body shame, sort of like, I really need to focus right now on what I need to do to fix this on my body. And you start going into some kind of thing where it's like analyzing what's been done before and looking at what you're going to do as if you have some kind of control over your body.
Right.
Okay.
You
Okay.
nailed it.
Okay, good. So this is where a choice comes in. It seems very, very enticing to keep on pursuing those thoughts about how to fix your body, because you think you're going to get somewhere. You think you're going to finally find the solution. Okay. And all it's doing is making more of the same, because it's a feeling.
Yes.
Remember, you want this perception to get this feeling so that you can see through it. You want to get this feeling of body shame. That's like, yay, I have this feeling. Woo. But it's not like that when they're
keeping the person there.
Right. Yeah, because that feeling is for releasing you. But the choice that you continually make, and that I've found myself continually making when another choice is available, clearly, is to keep pursuing that. And so in the moment that I see that pursuit happening, there's another choice, almost like another step back, that, it's pursuing that. And it's and in the awareness of it pursuing like that, it becomes meaningless to pursue like that. So in my experience over this weekend, it was noticed like that. Like it comes up and it's like, ooh, there's that. I know that pattern. I've seen it a bunch of times. Okay, this is awesome. And it's like, that can't really be. All these different things start coming into my mind. What I've been doing for self-care, what I can do better, all this kind of stuff. And it's like, wow, there it is. There's the pattern. There is the pattern. And then I go somewhere after that, and totally my load is lightened, because that choice, it was able to be made now, because the pattern's been seen. It's it's meaningless to pursue that.
Because
maybe
like the light
maybe some different changes are coming and stuff like that, but I don't have to pursue them. In fact, probably some changes, most likely some changes are coming
Oh, of
because it's
course, because
almost
the
like
mind is
birth.
changing.
Yeah, it's almost like birthing. These things are life changing. They can be
Right.
life changing experiences. And so my load's completely lightened. I'm going to my next thing, and the next thing you know, I'm really getting close with a woman who has a belly that's so big you like if she had her clothes off, you wouldn't see her vagina.
Okay.
And I'm sensing that whole vibe right here. I'm sensing that whole vibe of all that seemed like it was like, wow, what if da 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 and all that. And then this woman, and I can sense it, like, she doesn't make eye contact with me or anything. And it's kind of like keeps her distance. I end up playing with her kids because she's not giving me any kind of personable vibe. So I end up running around and playing with her kids and stuff. And then just, showing her, not through words, not through actions or anything like that, but through feeling, through energy, that it's okay, that it's all okay. See? Because people are going around with this kind of a sensation, a body shame sensation, and it doesn't really have to do with what they look like or anything like that. That doesn't have to do with anything with what they are, because what they're experiencing. Because the body shame, it's equally available to everyone. You could have what people think is the best body in the world, and it's still gonna go on.
And it's still there. Right.
Yeah, it's still gonna go on. And it's like it's also wonderful to be able to share the piece of there is no body. It's not like there's any kind of body or anything that we need to like define ourselves by. And just to share that as something, it's as something, because it's real. That's what's real. There is no body there. There is no shame about what we see here. It is a representation of the unconscious mind, and it's meant to bring about feelings. It's all is. But it's like it cannot speak to the truth. And I'll tell you, if you have a good feeling about your body, it can't be trusted. It's just going to turn to its opposite.
Right.
It's just going to turn onto its opposite.
Yes. Oh, I see that clearly.
Yeah.
Clearly.
If you have a good feeling about it, it's like it's not going to be. It's like as soon as I go into the space with someone and sense that energy, and sense that kind of hiding and stuff like that. It's like, oh, all this compassion, I could feel it just go out. I could sense it just go out because it's been allowed here first. If you give yourself a good feeling, see what the ego will do is compare to give yourself a good feeling about the body. It's like, oh, it's not that bad. Look, it could be like this. And that's not going to work. That's never going to work. That's not gonna please consciousness. Let's say that. That's not gonna please consciousness. It's not about being better than another person.
Right.
It's about recognizing that all of these are meant to get a feeling. They're only meant to get a feeling. And it's like when you recognize what it's for, and that in the feeling, through the feeling, is your release. And theirs, really, because it's not holding them. See, what could occur, what a lot of times occurs too, is when someone who's having body issues meets up with a person who's also having body issues, whether they are or not, and they have like a bigger, different body. Like I said, this lady was really large. And the experience is much different. I know because I would have the experience, like when I would feel bad body shame and stuff like that, I would project it, and I would be, oh, at least I'm not like that, and to make myself feel better. But that's like an ego trip. It's not a real better feeling. It's only a better feeling that's leading to disaster. It's a better feeling like it's a setup for an even worse feeling than you had before.
Yes, I see that.
Yeah, because it's trying to project the pain. It's like almost like, oh, at least I'm not hurting as much as that person is hurting.
Well, the
You
hurt
know.
is the same.
Good thing they're here to take that hurt away from me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, good thing they're here looking much bigger than me, so then I can feel smaller and feel better, or whatever it is. You know, and it's funny because the body shame that I was experiencing didn't have anything to do with size, didn't have anything to do with weight at all. Like didn't have anything to do with that. It was more like now it gets to the point where, oh, maybe I need a better moisturizer or something. You know, it'll be something. Now it seems, you know, at this point it seems to me, besides that like couple weeks where I had a belly, where I was showing you my belly and stuff, where I had like, I don't know what was going on, but it's like that weight is no factor at all. And it seemed like if that was solved, everything would be fine, right?
Yep.
It's not true. It's not
No,
true.
not true.
There's something else just rears its ugly head once again.
Yep.
So
Beautiful.
yeah.
Thank you for that.
But he's giving me 5 minutes. Thank you too. 5 minutes until we go to Island Naturals. So I have a lot more questions. I have questions from Anon, and I have more. This one who wrote me sent me some great questions here. I have a lot more to talk about. You know what? I will probably just impromptu schedule wisdom dialogues, and it probably won't be next week because I'm excited about it. I would really like to do it again. So I'll just let you guys know. I'll put it on Facebook. I'll put it in my newsletter, and that one that you get with my head, so you know who you're talking to. Do you like the big picture of me that comes up in the newsletter? You like seeing that?
Yeah.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
All right. I was like, I wonder if they like that. Boom, big head.
Fine. So what about tonight at the normal time, 4 o'clock or 9
Well,
o'clock?
because I'll be at a party, so it'll be.
That's why you did it early today. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's why I did it early, because I'm gonna take this dude shopping right now, and I'm gonna go to a party, and
Well, have
so
fun.
maybe sometime tomorrow. I'll see what's on my schedule.
Okay. We're having
it's a
another
friend's 80th birthday party.
We're having another blizzard here in Maine.
Oh, sweet.
Isn't it lovely? It's lovely. It's fun.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd love to have you guys on again if you want to do it. Whose birthday is it? Oh, it's Thomas Walton's. He's 80. It's at it wasn't gonna be at Seaview Lawn, but since it's raining, it's gonna be up at the pavilion. Yeah. So come along if you want. And it's like 2-ish to whenever. Yeah. All right. I love you. I'll let you know of the next Wisdom Dialogues. Sponsored by Miracle Botanicals.
Miracle Botanicals.
MiracleBotanicals.com. We love you. Okay.
Love you. Thank
See you soon.
you.
Aloha.
Bye.